Suppose you need to take a list of product names like this and maybe create a pivot table or aggregate by category, but you don't have that category information. When I say category, I'm talking about things like cables or display devices, motherboards, processors, storage. I don't have any of that in here and I need to invent it. But how do I automatically derive those categories based on the text in this column? Well, let's see how we can write a formula that will do exactly that. Be sure to download this file from the link in the video description so you can follow along with me in the development of this solution, or just open up the solution file and go straight to the punchline of the joke. If I were to go straight to the final solution, the formula might not make as much sense as if I took it and built it in stages so we can understand what each piece is responsible for. So let's start with something simple. A test, just to see if anything in the product name column has the word cable in it. So to do this, we're going to use the search function. And search says, I want to find anything that has the word cable in it. And I'm trying to locate it from the text in cell A2. Close parentheses, enter, and it returns a pound value because in A2, there is no word cable. But if I fill this down the column, we can see here that cable was encountered starting in the 18th character position, here in the 6th, the 5th, the 12th character positions. So we know those blocks of text have the word cable. So if you have the word cable, I want to assign the category cables. I need to turn those numbers into true-false statements. So let's wrap that search function inside of an isNumber function. Now the pound value turns to false, and if I fill that down, anywhere there was a number returns a true. This now could go inside of something like an if statement. So we could say, if all of this is true, then write the word cables. Otherwise, do nothing. Close parentheses. And because this row had a true, it says cables. I'll fill that down. I'll also fill it up. So anywhere where the word cable is in the text, we get the category cables. Now that's fine if all you want to do is create one category. But what if we want to create multiple categories? I don't want to write multiple nested ifs. So one thing we could do is we could replace all of this with a switch function. So let's take all of these, delete them, and let's say equals switch. And for our expression, we'll just use a true function. This tells the switch to engage the first encountered true statement, comma. We'll use that previous isNumber search for cable formula, and if this is true, we'll display the word cables, comma. But now I want to perform another test. So I'll highlight this isNumber formula, copy it, paste it, but then change the search word from cable to USB. And if that's a hit, we'll display USB devices. Let's expand our formula bar, comma. We'll iterate another isNumber search function, but this time instead of looking for the word cable, we'll look for the word mouse. And if that's a hit, display the word accessories. One of the nice things about the switch function is if none of these are true, then we can have a default response like other. Close parentheses, enter. I'll fill it down. You can see from the results that any place where the word cable, USB, or mouse was encountered, the appropriate category was displayed. Everything else received other. When you start writing formulas that are this long, they become difficult to read. So let me expand the formula bar a little bit more. What I like to do is embed some carriage returns into my formula. And you can do that by holding down the Alt key and hitting Enter. So I'll put one here, another one here, and another one here, and one more here. You may also want to include some indentation, just to make it even a little bit more readable. Your style is completely up to you. I'll fill that down, same results. This approach has some issues. The first is we have to keep going back to cell A2 and retrieving the information to do the isNumber search comparison. What if we could retrieve it one time and then repeatedly compare the single retrieved item? So to do this, I'm going to highlight this entire switch formula and copy it, Control-C. Now let's create a second version of this. This one will use a let function. Let is one of my favorite functions, but it allows us to create what I like to think of as in-formula named ranges. So to start off with, I'll do an Alt-Enter, and we're going to create an in-formula named range or a variable, and I'm going to call it PN for product name, comma, and product name will just retrieve whatever's in cell A2, comma, Alt-Enter, and here I will paste the entire switch isNumber search formula that we created just a moment ago. Let's stretch that formula bar out. But I'll go into that original formula and replace every instance of A2 with PN for product name, We need to add an extra close parentheses for the let. This way, we don't have to keep retrieving the same AMD Ryzen 5 7600X for every comparison that we're searching for. Now you might think, well, what's the big deal? We only saved 2 searches. Well, in a moment, there are going to be many more searches. So grabbing the contents from A2 one time will have a performance boost in just a moment. I'll hit enter, fill it down, and as we can see, the results are identical. So this does the same thing, it's just a little more efficient. The weakness here is the A2 reference at the very beginning of the let formula. Because we're only examining one cell, we have to repeat this formula for every product name in this list. And if there are thousands of product names, we have to create this formula thousands of times. What if we were to switch out the A2 reference with all of the cells in column A that could contain products? This is where things get a little trickier, but with a little practice, this becomes quite easy. Instead of reprogramming the variable product name with a new cell reference retrieval every time this formula is repeated, we will write one formula that will service all of the rows in column A. So let's replace this let function and this name creation with a by row function. So what by row function does is we feed it a range, and then it will execute a set formula one row at a time throughout that entire range. Our range starts in A2 and goes all the way to A52. I like to account for growth in my tables, so I could say go all the way to A1000, but if I only have 52 rows, I don't want to examine another several hundred cells. So we'll use Excel's new dot operator after the colon, which will tell Excel analyze up to A1000 as a worst case scenario, otherwise only analyze up to where data exists. So this will create a more dynamic range. Comma, Alt-Enter. Now there has to be something that takes each row individually from the by row function and processes it into a formula. This is where the lambda function comes into play. Lambda needs a variable to hold each cell presented by the by row function for each iteration. So we'll create a variable called pn for product name, comma. Everything else in here remains the same. So by row will feed each cell between A2 and A1000 one at a time to lambda. Lambda will hold that in a variable called pn, and then pn will be used throughout the switch isNumber search function routine. We need to add one more close parentheses for the by row function. Press enter. In this case, I'm getting a spill error because it's trying to service every row in this table, and I have older formulas in these cells. So I need to highlight these older formulas and delete them. Now this one formula in cell C2 is servicing up to 1,000 rows in column A. I just realized I accidentally overwrote my second example, and I didn't mean to do that. So I've put the second example back here with the let function and then moved what I just wrote into the third version. So the first version was the switch that examined the same cell 3 times. The second version used the let to set up that named variable so we can retrieve that value once and examine it 3 times. And now the third version uses the by row with the lambda to perform all analysis in one formula. So now what's the new problem? The new problem are the categories. I'm only checking for 3 categories. But what if I have dozens of categories I need to check? Well, let me show you what this would look like if we stayed with this particular tactic. I have another version here called 3.5 verbose, and here is the formula to count for all of our possible categories, and I think I have 16 of these. This starts to get unmanageable, and if you want to add new categories, this just becomes worse. So what if we could replace all of this isNumber searching with a lookup table? If I scroll over, let me move my formula bar back up, I have a proper table here named TBL keywords. And the first column are the words we're looking for, and the second column are the categories we'd like to apply if those words are encountered. By putting this in a table, it becomes much easier to manage because we could just add, remove, or edit existing table entries and never have to touch our formulas again. So let me go in here and hide these first 3 examples. So here's the by row lambda with all possible categories defined. Let's make this a lot smaller. Let's write our first formula that will examine each cell separately, but then we'll make it better by examining the entire column A data in a single formula. So we'll begin with a let function, Alt-Enter. We'll create a temporary name called PN for product name, and it will point to cell A2. We're going to create another temporary variable called hits, and hits will use the isNumber search function combination. But this time the words we're looking for are any of the words in that TBL keywords table in the keyword column, comma. The cell we're trying to locate is the PN variable. And for the first iteration, that will be A2, but then the next one will be A3, A4, etc. Close parentheses for the search, close parentheses for the is number, comma, Alt-Enter. Now we can use an XLOOKUP function. An XLOOKUP says, I'm looking for anything that is true, because remember, the is number search will return a true if a keyword is found, comma, I'm looking that up in that entire list generated by the hits variable. So that should give me a series of true falses where everything is false except for one thing if that thing exists. If you get a hit, what do you want to return a matching value from? This is where we're going to pull that from the category column of that TBL keywords table, comma, and since XLOOKUP has built-in error checking, if we don't find any of those keywords in the text we're examining, then we'll just assign the generic category of other. Close parentheses for the XLOOKUP, close parentheses for the let. Let's hit enter, fill this down. We see that all of the results are identical. The massive advantage of doing it this way is a more manageable table. Let's hide column E. So this formula has to execute for every row in this table. Let's now take this to the final stage where we examine every piece of data in column A and do that categorical lookup, but do it all in one formula. Using the technique we used earlier, we're going to use a by row function, which will iterate through all of the rows between cell A2, and A1000. But because I only want to go as far as there is data between A2 and A1000, I will place a dot after the colon, comma. We'll use a lambda function. Lambda needs a variable to hold each iteration of the cells when we walk through the A2 through A1000 range. So we'll create a variable called PN for product name, comma. I'm going to use a let function to make my actual formula a little simpler to understand, but let is optional in this case. So with let, I'm going to create a variable called hits, and hits is going to hold that entire is number search operation. And when it looks in the keywords column of the table, it will compare that to what lambda is holding in the PN variable, which will change for each cell in the range of A2 through A1000. So that will return an entire column of falses where hopefully somewhere in there is a true. This is where we'll use the XLOOKUP function to look for a true in the array of true falses stored in the hits variable. And if we find a hit, we want to return a matching item from the same row of the category column. If we don't find a match, this is XLOOKUP's built-in error checking, we'll just put the other category. Close parentheses for the XLOOKUP, close parentheses for the let, and finally close parentheses for the lambda and the by row functions. We'll hit check, and this formula scans all of the data in column A, but dynamically, with no waste, looking for any of the keywords in that side table, and if it finds a match, returns the appropriate category. And it did this for every entry in column A, all in one formula. So this would be our final formula for this entire table. Now for a little bonus formula, let me collapse my formula bar. I'm going to go down here and create a little pivot table, but I'm going to do this without an actual pivot table object. I'm going to use a GROUPBY function. So we'll say equals GROUPBY. The rows I'm trying to group are all of the categories in column G, so everything between G2 through G1000. But I don't want any of the blanks, so right after the colon, I'll use that dot operator, comma. I'm going to group the exact same column of data, G2 through the limited G1000 range, comma. I want to use the COUNTA function, because I'm just trying to count the number of times a product occurred in that list, comma. I don't want field headers, comma. I don't want grand totals, comma. And I want to sort by the second column, but in a descending order, so that will be a -2. Close parentheses, enter. And here we have a pseudo pivot table that uses a GROUPBY function. One advantage would be if I were to go to the bottom of this table and add something like an iPhone entry. My original table didn't have iPhone in it, so it was classified as other. If I scroll back up, I can see other has a count of 3. But in my TBL keywords table, if I were to go to the bottom of this and look for the word phone, anything with the word phone in it will be classified as a telecom device. And now other has dropped to 2, and we have a new entry called telecom. So what are your thoughts on this solution to create categories from a keyword lookup table? This is just the way I figured it out, but if you have a better way, put it down in the comments. I'd always like to see how you solve these problems. Hopefully this gave you a more in-depth understanding of functions like byrow, lambda, let, and the dot operator to make your formulas more dynamic and more flexible. Remember to download this file from the link in the video description, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching, and remember, at BCTI, the learning never stops.